be scary and upsetting to receive an unexpected medical bill. Sometimes they're small and they're just confusing and frustrating, but sometimes you can receive a rather large unexpected medical bill, which can be quite frightening. So in today's video, we're going to go over some of the more common reasons why you might receive an unexpected medical bill, why a procedure might not be covered, or your medical claim might be denied. Now, I do want to preface today's video by reminding you that yes, we are licensed health insurance brokers. So if you have any general health insurance questions, you can absolutely reach us in the comments below, or you can reach us at the number on the screen. And of course, there's no charge for our services. But if you have more specific questions about a specific healthcare bill, that unfortunately is not something we're going to be able to help you out with today. If you do have a broker that you've worked with, we definitely recommend that you give them a call. They may be able to act as a liaison for you, which is of course a service we offer to our clients. And you can always call your doctor and your insurance carrier if there's a bill that you're uncertain about. Now, we release these videos on a weekly basis, so make sure to subscribe to stay up to date. And of course, please click that like button, give us a thumbs up so we can get this information out there. So usually screening services and preventative visits are offered with no copay, so $0. However, sometimes these screening visits might turn into a diagnostic visit. For example, something might pop up during the screening that might cause the doctor or billing department to change the coding from screening to diagnostic. Or they might run an additional test in the moment that you're not even aware of. For example, you might take your child to a regular pediatrician wellness visit. However, during the visit, perhaps your doctor notices that your child's throat seems a little red and they order a strep test. Or perhaps they're not meeting their milestones and they refer you to a specialist. Well, all of a sudden you might have gone from a regular wellness visit to a diagnostic visit. Now, we're not saying that this is right, and we're not saying that it's always the case. It just might happen, and it's something that you should be aware of. If that's the case, the medical coding might get switched from screening to diagnostic, whether intentional or not. We've also heard many reports of people going in for routine mammograms, and those medical codes can get changed from screening to diagnostic based on the results or whether or not the doctor refers the patient for additional testing. Now, sometimes this can be intentional, sometimes it could be a miscommunication between the doctor and the billing department. So definitely contact your doctor and your insurance carrier to sort out this type of unexpected bill. Another very common reason for receiving an unexpected or inaccurate medical bill is inaccurate medical coding. Sometimes the billing department may make an error and switch a letter or a number in the medical coding and entirely change the nature of the procedure or service that you've received. Now, if you spot something like this in your explanation of benefits, contact your insurance carrier immediately. You'll need to explain to them the treatment or procedure that you actually received, and they should be able to follow up with your doctor's billing department to sort out the miscommunication. Now, the statistics regarding the frequency of medical coding errors are quite frankly all over the place, but one study indicated that 80% of medical bills included at least one error. So please double check and triple check your explanation of benefits. If there's something on there that doesn't seem quite right, don't just pay it blindly. Contact your insurance carrier, contact your doctor, and follow up. That being said, you also can't just ignore an erroneous bill because you don't want it to go on your credit. You don't want collectors calling you either. So just follow up. Follow the proper channels. Of course, it is very frustrating to have to correct a mistake that you didn't make, but you don't want to deal with the repercussions. And I will also just add that medical fraud, specifically Medicare fraud, are also much more common than you might think. Another extremely frustrating reason for receiving a bill or having a medical claim denied is when your insurance carrier deems the procedure, service, or treatment not medically necessary. And there can be a few reasons for this. First is, of course, pre-authorization. Now, we see this with Medicare Advantage plans a lot, especially when we're talking about HMOs. Basically, with an HMO, yes, you need not only a primary care physician, but you need a referral from said primary care physician to go see a specialist. Now, even if that's the case, your insurance may need to pre-authorize you to see the specialist or receive a certain treatment. If you are not pre-authorized, you may receive an unexpected medical bill stating that that service or treatment wasn't covered. So if this is the case, you'll need to provide documentation or a letter explaining why the treatment or service was medically necessary. Now, this is another reason why Medicare supplement plans are so much more popular than Medicare Advantage plans, because there are no referrals and there is no pre-authorization. Your insurance carrier may also deem that your treatment was in an inappropriate setting. So what I mean by that is sometimes your insurance carrier may determine that the treatment that you received would have been more appropriate through your PCP or through an urgent care rather than an emergency room and a hospital. Now, sometimes something may feel like an emergency and turn out not to be, and this can cause some confusion and frustration with your insurance carrier. There is basically a layman's rule that states that if it's something that a layman would consider an emergency and you would need to go to the hospital, then your insurance carrier should cover it. So definitely go ahead and contact your insurance carrier and try to dispute this if something like this occurs. And when it comes to your health, of course, it's always better to err on the side of caution. You also want to make sure that you don't go out of network if we're talking about an HMO. So if you have an HMO, you need to operate within a network of doctors and hospitals. Should you choose to go out of network, then your insurance carrier will not cover the bill. This can become a little bit more problematic and frustrating when it comes to referrals, because obviously your PCP, your primary care physician, is going to be in network. But very often when you ask for a referral, they give you one without really looking into whether or not that specialist accepts your health insurance. Then you go home, you attempt to make an appointment, and it turns out they don't accept your insurance, and you have a lot of phone calls to make. So if you do need a referral from your doctor, make sure they are aware of your health insurance. That way you skip a few unnecessary steps. Now, in the case of a true medical emergency, head to the nearest hospital. It doesn't matter whether they're in network or out of network, because under the Affordable Care Act, your health insurance cannot charge you more for an out-of-network emergency room versus an in-network emergency room. Now, prior to 2022 and the surprise medical bill ban, you could actually receive a balance bill should you be treated in an out-of-network hospital. So meaning the remainder basically of your bill, which would be very frustrating. And additionally, sometimes people would go to an in-network hospital, but they might be treated by an out-of-network physician while they were there and receive a bill for that out-of-network physician. Very often, this was not in people's control. Luckily, this is now part of the law, so if you do receive some type of bill from a medical emergency, again, you need to dispute this with your carrier, because you cannot be charged more in a medical emergency for out-of-network versus in-network. Now, as I said earlier, as much as we'd love to be able to help you with all the specifics of your healthcare claim questions, that's not something that we can do. So we definitely recommend that you contact your doctor or your insurance carrier or your broker if you have one. Now, if you do have additional, more general questions about health insurance, you can absolutely reach us in the comments below or at the number on the screen. We are licensed nationwide and there's absolutely no charge for our services, so please feel free to give us a call. But before you go, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date, and of course, click that like button so we can get this information out there. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.